Hello, my name is Hassan Sorrells, and this is the Leadership Lessons from the Great Books podcast shorts. There's no co-host on these shorts episodes. These are now around 2 to 4 minute, sometimes as long as 6 to 10 minute observations, ideas, thoughts, or rants about the literature, philosophy, psychology, and even the theology of leadership. Because listening to me talk about leadership for now around 2 to 4 minutes is still better than reading and trying to understand yet another business book. Even that business book your coworker won't stop raving about because it quote-unquote changed their life, but you can't see any difference in their leadership behavior. So how good could that author be? So this is just a small observation because, well, words mean things, particularly for leaders. Coaching and mentoring are not the same acts, even though leaders and organizations use the terms interchangeably. Think about it for a minute. You can probably count on one hand the number of actual mentors you have ever had in your life. People who were genuinely interested in your development in all areas of life and experience, and who sought to develop you spiritually, emotionally, and psychologically. Mentors challenge people across time to grow. You could probably use all your fingers and toes as well as the fingers and toes of the person next to you while you listen to this podcast episode to count the number of coaches you have had in your life. People who sought to improve your skill sets and competencies in one or very many specific areas, based not necessarily always on your development, but based on their own experience, skills, competencies, and requirements of whatever role they're coaching you through. Now, the challenge here lies in that coaching has some aspects of mentoring to it. And mentoring, of course, contains almost all the aspects of coaching. But both acts encourage the development of fundamentally different outcomes. A coach seeks to see you grow and change for sure, but if that growth and change continues past the moment at hand, they are typically agnostic about that outcome. A mentor wants the growth to continue beyond the current moment of coaching and seeks to see your improvement be distilled across your actual life. Organizations who launch mentoring programs should just stick to calling them coaching programs, and leaders who seek to mentor young workers should stick to coaching the vast majority of their employees and team members to avoid confusion, miscommunication, and, well, potentially HR-driven misunderstandings. Because with the average worker staying in a job or staying in employment with a particular organization for only around 4 years, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, as recently as 2022, how much genuine mentoring can a leader really accomplish? And well, that's it for me. Thank you for listening to the Leadership Lessons from the Great Books podcast today. And now that you've made it this far, you should subscribe to the audio version of this show on all the major podcast players, including Apple iTunes, Spotify, YouTube Music, and everywhere else where podcasts are available. There's also a video version of our podcast on our YouTube channel. Like and subscribe to the video version of this podcast on the Leadership Toolbox channel on YouTube. Just search for Leadership Toolbox and hit the subscribe button there on YouTube. And while you're doing that, leave a 5-star review if you like what we're doing here on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Just go below the player and hit 5 stars. We need those reviews to grow, and it's the easiest way to help grow this show. And tell all your friends, of course, in leadership. By the way, if you don't like what we're doing here, well, you can always listen to another leadership show. There are several other good ones out there. At least that's what I've heard. All right. Well, that's it for me.